So this is not a Burns night, as always, on a different theme every year. And this year it seemed appropriate that we'd do it as a tribute to Tom Leonard. Tom was born in Govanhill in Annette Street, and he also came along to support the Bass campaign. Read at one of our poetry splash nights, and we thought we'd like to give a wee thank you. And thanks everybody for coming. It's a tremendous turnout. The donations will be going to the Govanhill Bass campaign, and also half of it will be going to the British Lung Foundation as a request for Tom's family. So thanks for your donations, and thanks for coming along. Hopefully we're going to have a great wee afternoon. We've got some great writers and poets here for you. Some of them might be reading some of Tom's work, some of them their own stuff, and it'll be a good wee mix. We chose the people as a sort of representation of sort of working class writers, and also people from various places that connected to Tom, from Glasgow, from Ayrshire, and from other places. So we thought we chose wisely, and we've got a good wee mix of people. Hope you enjoy the acts. Govanhill Bass is a good example of working class solidarity and community spirit. And I think, personally, I think that's what Tom represented to me as a writer, and I was growing up and reading his stuff, the spirit of solidarity in his work, and his writing, and in his readings, and in the sort of political activism he was involved in, and all that stuff came through all the time. And that's what he always represented it to me, represented that kind of spirit of solidarity. And so we are delighted to pay tribute to him today. I'm not normally kind of nervous doing these things, but I'm seeing some sort of Will Kent faces in here that made me a wee bit nervous. So I'm not going to be doing it. I'm a poet, but I'm not going to be doing any of my stuff. It's about the acts we've invited along today. And the first act I'm going to welcome to the stage is a close friend of Tom Leonard's, a fantastic, one of my favourite poets. He's come all the way he's a local South Sider, but like everybody else here in Govanhill, he's an immigrant. He comes from Borheed. And so I'd like to give a big Southside welcome to Jim Ferguson. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, Jim. I first met Tom in 1986 at the Paisley Writers Group when I was suffering from severe agoraphobia, and I was a very kind of sensitive and sad young 25-year-old. And Tom kind of brought me to my shell and fucking made me feel good. So I hope what I read out is going to make you feel good, but it might make you feel a wee bit miserable. But not too miserable. But I thought I'd read two pieces by Tom and two pieces by myself, and I'll start off with a piece by Tom, which is called Hesitations, Monologues for Dancing, for Jim Ferguson, which is just in here. So I'm reading a poem that somebody else wrote for me. So what do you do with yourself then, eh? What do you do these days? Really? Been a while, innit? That's good, that's okay then, innit? I'm the same. I don't give a shite for any of them. Don't give a dog's turd. Supposing the entire fucking lot and all their fucking works and pomps copped the fucking whole thing smack, would serve them according to that which they totally fucking deserve. That's my opinion, and having delivered it, I will now have my fucking breakfast. At the same time, you wonder, at least I do, you sort of keep trying to avoid it. That's the difficult bit of it. Just keep finding yourself sitting watching the telly or looking out the window. That way you say, Christ, I could go a roll an egg, or what's the fucking time? We've no cooking oil and we need potatoes. Seen 'em. The other times though, fucking murder, eh? Couldn't they turn a Christ? I mean, yep. Hey. There's more. Nah, it's if but asked. What? She was that way the last time. That way. If it's if it's our kit, God rest her, our kit, you maybe, how, don't be ridiculous. I tell you that. Oh, aye, nah, will it? Don't you believe it? No, if you've any sense. I wouldn't. Not a bit of it. No way, nah. Load of fucking shite, frankly. That's it. That's the beginning, the middle, and the end of it. Nah, it's not for me. The question does not arise. The fucking orthodoxy of the bastard is irrefutable. It's a matter for the triumvirate, one opines. It'll just have to be that way, cause it can't be any other way than no for the moment. Of course, you might find that things will change. They'll change yon way that you didn't notice at the time. But you look back and mind the way it was, and that's when you'll say to yourself, well, I never thought I'd see the day. End of sequence. I thought I would try and do a piece called Mr. Chesty Burns the Fried Bread. Tom made it into a wee book by hand and all that. He typed it up on a typewriter and made it into this wee book, which he apparently gave to me on the 26th of April 1989. It's all about that Mr. Happy Glasgow thing and all that, you know. Some folk might be familiar with it. I can't remember what kind of big book it was published or whatever, but I quite liked it. It was a lovely sunny morning in Glasgow, and Mr. Chesty was hanging face down over the side of his bed. That nasty old night phlegm was draining to the top of his lungs. Poor Mr. Chesty. Cough, cough, cough. At last, the first of the day arrived, and Mr. Chesty wrapped it in a nice fresh Kleenex. Mr. Chesty peeped. It was Mr. Happy. Glasgow's miles better, chipped the little fellow. Mr. Chesty found he could cough up Mr. Happy's whenever he wanted. And every time Mr. Chesty coughed up a Mr. Happy, he wrapped it in a nice floral, fresh Kleenex and put it in the floral bin just beside the gas fire. Soon the floral bin beside the gas fire was full of Mr. Happy's. Glasgow's miles better, Glasgow's miles better, sang the floral bin. Mr. Chesty sat listening to the floral bin. It was just like the Glasgow Orpheus Choir. Can you sing The Garden? Anyway, well, right, fuck knows what this is. Right, can you sing The Garden Where the Praties Grow? Asked Mr. Chesty. But the floral bin did not know the words. So Mr. Chesty went to make his breakfast. Mr. Chesty put his morning slice of bread in the frying pan with his morning slice of lawn. Then he spotted something outside in the garden. It was a giant inhaler. Mr. Chesty went outside to investigate. The inhaler was almost as big as Mr. Chesty himself. Mr. Chesty read the label. Chesty's Magic Inhaler expires March 1995. 2 puffs anywhere in Glasgow before or after meals. State destination clearly. Mr. Chesty sat down on the magic inhaler. He pressed the top of the canister twice and held on tight. The Burrell Collection, stated Mr. Chesty clearly. Puff, puff went the magic inhaler and rose into the air. It was the most wonderful day of Mr. Chesty's life. He saw all the Glasgow museums, he saw all the galleries, he saw all the parks, he saw the cathedral, he saw Provin's Lordship. He had lunch with the Lord Provost at the City Chambers. He heard a symphony concert by the Scottish National Orchestra. He joined in all the coughing between the movements. Oh, fuck's sake, Tom, that's brilliant. But of all the wonderful places that Mr. Chesty visited that day, his favourite was the Burrell Collection in Pollock Park. Do you know who Sir William Burrell was? Can you guess why Mr. Chesty felt so proud? Sir William Burrell was one of Glasgow's most generous and patriotic sons who had helped his country by selling its ships during the First World War. Then he had encouraged local businessmen by spending all the money in Big Peter's Cash and Carry in Maryhill. One of your no-nonsense Glasgow men, Sir William, had liked nothing fancier on his floors than a half inch of reasonably dry sawdust, so he hung all Big Peter's carpets and rugs on his walls. Sir William was one of us, mused Mr. Chesty proudly. That day was the most marvellous day that the whole city of Glasgow had ever saw or heard, for as Mr. Chesty flew back and forth over the city on his magic inhaler, the most marvellous thing began to happen. In all the Mr. Happy clinics, people gathered at the windows, waving and tapping on the window panes with their little inhalers, rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. The sound gathered in unison all over the city, rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. It was Morse code. Glasgow's miles better, Glasgow's miles better, tapped the happy inhalers. At last, Mr. Chesty felt it was time to go home. Home, he stated clearly to the magic inhaler, pressing on the top of the canister twice, but nothing happened. Home, magic inhaler, said Mr. Chesty a little louder. But all the metered doses has been used up, and the magic inhaler wasn't magic anymore, so Mr. Chesty would have to walk. As Mr. Chesty walked home, it was late and it was dark and it began to rain. It rained so hard it was like walking through a sea of boiling gobstoppers. I'd forgotten tomorrow was Fair Friday, sighed Mr. Chesty. But that wasn't all that Mr. Chesty had forgotten, for when he arrived home, he found that his slice of fried bread had been burnt to a frazzle, and the slice of lawn was like a wee black postage stamp. I'll try to scrape that in the morning, yawned Mr. Chesty, and went to his bed. As Mr. Chesty climbed into his bed, he coughed up the last of the day. Mr. Chesty wrapped it in a nice Kleenex and slipped it under his pillow. Is it fuck? Snapped the little fellow. Is it fuck? It was Mr. Pneumonia, but Mr. Chesty didn't hear Mr. Pneumonia's nasty bad language, for Mr. Chesty was fast asleep. It was Mr. Chesty's lucky night. Already he was dreaming his favourite dream. In Mr. Chesty's favourite dream, he won a magnificent sports trophy. Can you guess what it was called? The Capstan Full Strength Blow Football Quaich. Happy Mr. Chesty, Glasgow's miles better. One of the great parts of Tom's work was that he wrote some really fantastic essays on the politics of language and power. And around about 2012 or 13, he brought them out in a book called Definitive Articles, most of his essays and so forth. But anyway, for some reason, after I read that book, I wrote a kind of poem in response. It's kind of a letter back to Tom. I don't know if I ever sent him it or no, but I can't even remember writing it, to be honest. I found it the other day. I thought, fuck me, I'll post that on Facebook. Every cunt will like it. Anyway, I don't know if anybody did. Anyway, it's called The Crazy Articles of Our Minds Fuck Our Souls. We are scruffs whose lives matter not. Jail us, starve us, freeze us, cull us. We are scruff, we like it, we don't know any better. Agendas to the left, agendas to the right, agendas in the middle and agendas up and down. Who's that there floating naked through the room? She's no got an agenda, what a fucking balloon. The fact that no cunt cares that that cunt is not a cunt is a cunt. Why does a fried egg always look forlorn? Just a bodie, nae heed, somewhere somebody was making soup. there's your unity of opposites, there's your synthesis, antithesis, and thesis. There's your dialectical process, your negation of negation, your GFW Hegel, your blue sky, your Karl Marx carbuncle, your fragile toilet roll, your Dostoevsky toothache, your murderous tsunami, your paper mache clouds, your shit in your finger, your Scottish philosophy, your milk bottle glasses, your yolk yellow sun, your million minor ailments, your beautiful eyes, your body odour, your common sense, your perfumed bath, your breathing, your insanity, your fear of open spaces, your death, your fear of closed spaces, your death again. Right, I wrote this in the 1980s. It's called No Sunrise. It's quite long. Tom and I and a boy called Russell Kennedy for Paisley, and Graham Fulton, in fact, we made it into a wee film, and we showed it at the... I'm getting feedback here, I don't like that. We showed it at the Third Eye Centre in, I don't know, Paisley Writers Festival, somewhere, Newcastle, Modern Tower. Anyway, various places, but I haven't read it out a live thing ever in its entirety since about 1994, so this is going to be as painful for me as it is for you. It's called No Sunrise, a Glasgow monologue. Become lazy, just sitting. Must be after 4. I wonder if the sun's up yet. I wish I wasn't. The curtains are that light, that thick, no light can get through. Nothing can. No hope of the outside getting in or the inside getting out. Nothing to hurt my eyes. Nothing. Patrick, my father, would say to me, nothing can help you but yourself. That was his catchphrase, you know, that was what he always said. That light bulb up there's already lasted 3 full days, 72 hours, 100 watts. You'd think it'd hurt your eyes, but no, my eyes. The eyes are just so, they do. You get used to anything, you just do. And there's a kind of senile smell in here too, but I'm used to it. It's my smell. There's stale sweat and flecks of skin. The skin's gone to make dust, and the sweat's just hovering, well, smelling. It's a regular factory in here. I've been at it full time for a while, producing the sweat to make the smell, the flecks of skin for the dust work in my eyes, and that white light bulb, that daft light bulb. I broke the switch, and it's so hot you can't take the bulb out the socket. I've no been eating right. Honest, I haven't. And I'm starving, Christ, I'm starving and I'm tired. See the state of my eyes with that fucking daft light shining in them, and I haven't slept for 3 days either. And the thing is, seeing the thing is, and this all depends on your point of view, right enough. This all depends on your point of view, your point of view. Whatever you thought before you met me. I know there's a world out there, but I'm no gone out. I went out about 4 days ago, but I get dizzy. I was getting off the 64 bus under the bridge in Argyll Street, and the driver was in his cage where all good bus drivers should be, and his radio was blowing on a load of shite. It was a bit of a disastrous journey because I had a £1 coin, a 20 quid note, and I was sure I wasn't giving him 20 quid for a 10 bob fare. So I stuck the £1 in the wee window, and he gave us a ticket. All right, fair dues, you don't get change, you don't expect any. You just don't, because you know the driver's in his cage and won't even talk to you as if you're a person. You know, it's like you go for the interview to be a bus driver, and you say, I want to be a bus driver. But you have to say it as if you've got no personality. You exhibit no personality whatsoever, and that's it. Bingo, they give you the job. So you can be just completely and utterly devoid of reaction when some poor fucker comes on and sticks twice the price in the machine. You feel no sense of injustice, no even mild annoyance. It's just another 10 bob into the skyrocket for later on. Aye, and good luck to the fucker. I hope he drinks himself to death with the help of my 10 bob. Enjoys himself. No, MD would do the same. You couldn't fight that system. All isolated in the cage with your wheel and your indicators and vroom vroom down round Field Street thinking you're a tank. Aye, Rommel could have made something out of Glasgow bus drivers. Could have made plenty with some of they guys on his side. Would have sent Monty and his men to meet their makers. I'm telling you, if only he could get his horn in some of they fucking drivers, the desert rap bus drivers. But forget all that, forget it. That was more than 40 years ago. I keep getting off at tangents, and there's something interfering with me, playing with me, taking the piss. Never mind, right? Never mind. I was just telling you about it last time. I alighted from a 64 bus under the bridge on Argyll Street, and I experienced an attack of vertigo. You know, I got dizzy. The thing was, see, the radio was humming, driver giving it walkie-talkie, bussy-talkie, walkie-talkie, bussy-talkie, and I nearly tramped in this old woman. Just missed her by inches, and then her face, oh Jesus, her face. I said old, but she could have been young. You couldn't really tell her age, and nobody was helping her, nobody. And her face. It wasn't a face, it was just a variety of colours, and she just lay there on the street. I thought she had to be drunk, but she wasn't drunk. She must have just fell and cracked herself a badging. She just lay there among the litter, the feet in the black rubbish bags. She was waiting for the bin men to come and take her away. But they don't do that. It's inanimate refuse only, thank you very much. No genuine organic human trash. No stench of living flesh, living dugs, dead dugs, rabbits or budgies. No household pets, and above all, no hot ashes. I wonder what happened to her, that woman. What would you have done? I felt sick, probably the vertigo. Still, I had to get some messages, so I walked on my way. What would you have done? Christ, the obscenity. Imagine having the cheek to lie there in the street like that, obstructing the public footpath. For sure the police would be along and maybe sling her in a cell. The best place for her. But I couldn't help feeling as if I'd done something wrong. Never mind, I thought, never mind, fuck it and go on with the messages. And just as I was getting along, a chair came through a pub window and just missed me by inches. Jesus, it was close. It was close. It was close. I thought, fuck the messages. I went into an off-sales boat, 2 bowls of whiskey, opened one and took a good gulp at it. Christ, what's happening? What's going on? What's happening? I don't know. I don't know nothing anymore. I wandered about till it was late, till it was dark, and I ended up back home here. And I shut the door, shut the curtains, put the light on, punched the switch and cracked it, and that was it. And I sat down on this chair, and I haven't opened the curtains since. There's been a couple of knocks at the door, right enough, but I ignored them. But I might have just been dreaming. But it's the dreams that get you. I used to work and my wife was smashing, so she was. But I don't know what happened to her. Aye, a day, but I'm no saying. It's too personal. My wife couldn't stand me because I was always coming up with dreams and schemes and gambling away the gyro. When I was working, I used to think about a life of leisure, a house surrounded by fields, maybe down at the borders, and I would drive 3 miles to the nearest pub in a 4-wheel drive Land Rover, and I would play Fit Bubbly Waynes, and I would live for fucking years in all that fresh air. Brilliant, eh? Brilliant. Fucking brilliant! But still, I realised such dreams were incompatible with my objective circumstances. I had been born into the necessity of work and forced to sell my labour power for the wherewithal to provide even minor luxury. Minor luxury, I couldn't afford any luxury, and that was what convinced me to take every gamble under the sun, and I lost every one. Bad, innit? Losing every gamble you can think of course, it's fucking bad. But then I had seen that woman lying there, and I thought, fuck, I'm lucky. I'm one of the luckiest bastards alive. And that woman, what about her dreams? I wonder if she had any wains. I wonder what her ma and father would have said if they could have saw her lying there in the street in all that dirt and all the pedestrians twit down the road. Aye, it's all right, don't worry about it. Hang on, you go, push in, into Arnott's. Shows you how long ago it was. Into Arnott's, what the fuck would I be doing in Arnott's? And that woman wouldn't be in fucking Arnott's either. Even if she was the Queen Mother, they wouldn't be fucking letting her into Arnott's looking like fucking that. Surely it must be wrong to just leave somebody lying there in the street like that. And nobody was helping her. And I couldn't help her either. I couldn't. I was dizzy. I felt sick. And all I ever wanted was the easy life. Now it's that easy. it's like fucking nothing. And nothing means nothing. There's nothing to choose, nothing to fucking choose. Just whine and wild wasted time. Think that was a wee bit poetic there or something, eh? I don't think I know any more poems. Aye, a day, I know one. There was a wee man frae Govanhill who put his heat in the oven and kept it there. Good, eh? Good. I've seen that, you know. I've seen that, so I'll swallow it all. But years before all this, I swallowed a lazy dream, swallowed it whole, believed something good would happen to me. You know, fate and all that. Aye, fate, fucking fate. I have to leave. I have to leave. That light's fair pissing me off. That woman used to, I seen her face. It's a phobia. Jesus used to have fucking seen her. I'm leaving. See ye. Thanks very much.
Jim Ferguson. I first met Tom Leonard in 2003. We did an event down in Ochiltree in Ayrshire about it was the centenary of the publishing of the House of the Green Shutters. We did it was a great wee festival. Rob Wilson was there and a few others, Janice Galloway and others. And Tom read stuff about Ayrshire. I didn't know until then his sort of Ayrshire connection. I was immediately struck with, as the first time I met him, he was a bit of a kind of icon to me, and how easy it was to get on me, just how immediately you just felt like somebody you'd known all your life, who would just chat away to you. And the Ayrshire thing is something that was dead important to me when he reads like winter dikes and things like that, like words that I knew. And I remember when I'm outside the Ayrshire, people used to hang their clothes on a clothes horse. And I thought, what the fuck is a clothes horse? And it was only sort of Tom Leonard that I ever heard sort of said that winter dikes is that's what we put our clothes on next to the coal fire was winter dikes, no a fucking clothes horse. But our next guest is from Ayrshire. I'm absolutely shocked that she's here today because she's from Auchinleck. And if anyone was watching the BBC yesterday, I'd be surprised that Andy from Auchinleck is actually still compos mentis, isn't he, just crawling out of bed with a massive hangover after their victory yesterday. I'm from Cumnock, so I would like to congratulate Auchinleck on their success. I would like to be that kind of person, but I'm not going to. So a big Southside welcome again for Tracy Harvey.
On the boat. So I'm Tracy and I'm from Auchinleck, as Jim was saying, and I'm going to do 3 wee poems for you tonight. I started writing poems a few years ago, started saying them because it's the only time that anybody listens to me, to be honest. So the first poem I'm going to read is called My Language, and it's heavily influenced by Tom Leonard, especially that line when he says, God says to Adam, I don't care whether you call it apple or apple, just leave it alone. So this this poem is about what language means to me. I get a wee bit pissed off when I go into the language forums and things, and folk are arguing for ages about whether you spell shach with a GH or a CK, and it does my head in, because language to me is about essence and emotion, and this is how it goes. Mine's is a language to be belted out. It's the language of pieces and jam. It's the language of no being feared or getting it wrong. This language doesn't conform. This language is a heartfelt song. It's not just the fashion. This language is my passion, the love of my life. This language is a pure ride. It's clatty and mock it, an emotional wreck. This language is sad. This language is pure, beeling, mad. This language is a hoot. You can swallow my language or you can spit it out. Aye, this language would give you the bulk. So stop trying to micromanage my language. It's the language of the schemes and the Fitbit teams, the earth and the stars. It's the language of karaoke in the horseshoe bar. It's a language where I don't have to worry about dotting my I's or crossing my T's or rolling my R's. It's the language of the Talbot game. And the last train hame, it's the language of the stag rutting its wife in Lochranza to lag. It's the language of farmers bringing in the kye. It's the language of looking down in the plains for the car park in the sky. It's the language of the playground and the pubs and the folk in the bus. It's the language of first love and last orders and the call centres and the clubs. It's a language that's fed up being the runner-up. It's the language of Cawthorn and Drungan and White City and Short Lees. It's the language of the rivers and the wind and the trees. It's time this language got up off its knees. It's the language of the villages and the cities. It's a language that will only be governed but only academic on only committee. It's a language that we never forgot. It's a language for the new world. It's a language to welcome the new Scot. It's a language that's been out in the Randan. It's a language of, "Gun yourself, wee man!" It's a language that sings. It's my language. It's your language. It's your thing. As I was saying, I just write poems about stuff. So this next gin, I wrote it sitting in the train at Carstairs Junction because it's the most miserable place on earth. So I just sat there and wrote this wee poem. And it's based on, you ken how anything can happen in a train and nobody says a word. Everybody just sits there on their phone, including me. So that's kind of what this poem's about. Stuck in Carstairs on the train, the sky's dark and it's starting to rain. It's the dreekest place on earth. Everybody should get a pure, wide berth. But we're all stuck here together, wondering how this train's been sitting here forever. In the middle of nowhere, where murderers and madmen are sent to stew, we all just want to be home, but we're stuck out here in the moors with the clinically insane. So I'm just looking out the window, minding my ain, when I see a zombie hurpling along the platform, airting for the train. It's a braw zombie green and it's dragging half a leg. There's maggots in its een and beasties in its neb. It's looking straight at me, but I'm no letting on. He'd done, texting on my phone. Well, what else can I do? Maybe if I just ignore it, it'll go away. But no, it slaps its face against the window, right next to mine. I look on, I'm looking at my watch, checking for the time. The window's all slittered with gunge and bits of brain. Then the doors open and the zombie stoats onto the train. It's Guy Glaikett just donnering down the aisle in its mocket jeans and clatty jacket with its big zombie smile. A woman is blethering in her phone, sitting beside her wean. The wee lassie's tugging at her coat, saying, "Look, mammy, there's a zombie on the train." It's doing that classic zombie walk, arms out front. Somebody screams, "Get out my way, you zombie cunt," to hear the rest, because the words are cut short as the zombie reaches out and grabs him by the throat. I rake in my bag for some sort of zombie antidote. When I look up, it's chomping in a severed leg, eating like it's never been fed. Some folk are screaming, others are struck dumb. There's a man in a suit saying, "This is not so much a problem as a barrier to be overcome." A fella decks it with a can of Monster, a granny gives it a scalp, a woman chibs it with a bottle of Prosecco, the zombie lets out a yelp. A wee Jakey's slugging fa's frosty Jack, flings the tint bottle, hits the zombie a crack. Shouts, "You dirty stinking zombie, trying to give us a fright, you're just showing off now and your breath's like shite." "You mind your language," says a wee Glasgow cranny. "Now put that leg down, son, and stop being a fanny." A gang of lassies pout into their phones, a chance for some reality fame. Upload a selfie, #zombie on the train. The pair wee zombie lets out a moan. I'm thinking there's a bit of zombie hate crime going on. Folk are hiding in their tables, begging on their knees, when a wee crabbit woman comes ben shouting, "Tickets, please!" She says, "You get your feet off the seats. You put your empties in the bin. You put your luggage up above. You wind in your chin." So in the end, there's no need for restraint, no need to fin a taser. Her kind of huckled terrorists at Glasgow Airport, so yin wee zombies no gone to phase her. The zombie seems a tad taken aback, maybe even feared, it's hard to tell, but only way, it's no got a ticket, so she puts it off at Motherwell. Alas, it's a shame, the zombie's never to be seen again, for it doesn't see the sign that says, please mind the gap when alighting for this train. I'll just finish with this last tune, and it's about neighbours and what neighbours mean to each other. It's about good salt of the earth folk for Ayrshire and Glasgow and the likes. Sometimes I remember it and sometimes I don't, so just fingers crossed. It's called Betty and Leanne Through the Wall. Leanne flitted into a flat in Hill Street. It was time to storm and rain 2 feet. She brickened it up with some fairy licks, a potted plant, a battered couch she got for the Sally arm. A chap one day when she was scraping paper in the hall, she opened the door to a voice saying, if you need anything at all, just ask. I'm Betty and I stay through the wall. Two kindred spirits flung together. Betty fun a daughter, Leanne fun a mother. Leanne put out the wheelie bins, Betty broke them in. Betty cut the grass and Leanne raked it up when she was done. Leanne hung out her washing, Betty watched out for the rain. Leanne went after her work and Betty brought it in again. Leanne washed her windies, Betty swept the pads, Betty fed the birds and Leanne fed Betty's cat. Betty trimmed the hedge, Leanne shovelled snow. Leanne got a card at Christmas, signed for Betty through the wall. Leanne never let on when she heard Betty ranting. Betty just tut it when Leanne had been out gallivanting. Leanne never judged when Betty was 3 sheets to the wind. Betty would tell the provy woman that Leanne wasn't in. Leanne could sleep at night, ken, and Betty wasn't for a wall. Well, she couldn't help it, for she could hear her snoring through the wall. Betty was a nippy sweetie, could lash folk with her caustic tongue. Leanne was canny at others, I had been, for she was young. If baith had scars for the past, neither gied the game away. Betty didn't ask and Leanne didn't say. Sitting round the kitchen table, drinking tea, Leanne didn't gee her ginger when Betty spoke to folk that nobody else could see. Yin Monday night, like every yin before, Leanne lifted her fags and chapped Betty's door, opened it, called out Betty's name, waited for a retort, but the answer never came. Leanne went ben the living room, a sense of dread in her belly. Betty was in her usual chair, her face licked it up by the telly. When the paramedics came, they asked, are you her doctor? Is this your ma? She said, no, I'm her neighbour, I'm Leanne, for through the wall. And when she phoned, they wouldn't tell her a thing. She was just the neighbour for through the wall. She wasn't next to kin. At first, Leanne tried to go on like a four, but it became real when the council come round, boarded up Betty's windies, put metal shutters on the door. Then the pain came rushing to the fore, memories like wolves knocking down the door. One drink became 2, became 3, became 4, up till late, pacing up and down the floor. And when she woke in the wee hours, hugging her knees, listening to the wind, howling in the eaves, she butt on her nails, chewed in her hair, imagining every creak was his footstep on the stair. The wind rattled through the letterbox, making the curtains blaw. Leanne was scared and all alone, and nae Betty through the wall. One day, Leanne pulled the curtain aside to see a car pulled up outside. A lassie taking a set of keys out her bag, opening the gate and walking up the pad. Leanne just stood there, her thought saw a fankle, wringing her horns, Betty's cat, winding round her ankles. She didn't want to seem like the neighbour for hell, didn't want the lassie to think she couldn't keep herself to herself. Finning the courage, she opened the door and smiled for the hall. If you need anything at all, just ask. I'm Leanne and I stay through the wall. Thank you.
Tracy Harvey. Fantastic. Get one more guest before the break, and he's kind of like, I know everybody feels when people are reading poetry and all that, people always feel a wee bit awkward about going for a drink, but feel free going for a drink. Don't care about offending poets, like I don't. Fucking all wankers anyway. Our next guest is a writer that if you've missed this guy in Glasgow in the last year, I don't know where you've been. I saw him actually just last month at Pollock Shaw's library, where he did the 50th birthday party at Pollock Shaw's library. I'd wished I'd went yesterday. Would have been better when Tommy Robinson came to Pollock Shaw's library yesterday. Did you hear this? He came to hassle the local MSP because he'd called him a racist on Twitter. So he came all the way up for England to shout at him. That didn't happen at Chris McQueer's gig, unfortunately. It might have been entertaining to see how Chris handled that. But if you've not read Chris's stuff this year, you should. Yeah, I'm surprised you've not seen it. He's been everywhere. So his short story collections, Hings and Here We Fucking Go, are absolutely tremendous. If you've not got them already, go get them. And I'd like to welcome to the stage Chris McQueer.
How you doing, all right? I first came across Tom Leonard's work when I was only a wee guy and my granny showed me it. I think I was like 8 or 9, and she was asking me, she was kind of taking the cunt at me. She's like, go and read that out, I bet you can. And I kind of stumbled out for the first few times, and then it just all clicked, and it was the first time I'd ever seen the way we talk, like, written down. It just blew my mind, and I've been a bit of a fan ever since. So he's kind of like, his kind of style of writing's kind of inspired mine, and it's the reason I write in Scots. So I've got got 3 wee short stories to read you. So this first one is called Brexit, and it's about 2 wee apprentice joiners. They're sitting on their lunch break and they're trying to talk politics. So this is Brexit. It's a fucking terrible thing, one of the apprentices said to the other. Now we can't just up and leave and go and work in a bar in Ibiza or anywhere like that. It's not right, man. Because if you'd ever do that anyway, the other one laughed, getting tore into his packed lunch. Yeah, fuck off, mate. I might. You never know. Aye, no bother, mate. So that's it. That's your big anti-Brexit argument, that now you can't go to Ibiza and get a job in the Highlander or Kilty's bar or anywhere like that. Aye, well, that and other stuff as well. Like what? Well, look, I don't know. It's a shame, isn't it, for the refugees and that. No, they can't come out here. No, that's a sin. What are used to bumping your gums about it? Their boss said, walking in with a rolling sausage and a cup of tea. Oh, just politics and that, Bobby. Nothing you'd be interested in, mate. Ah, you're right there. Politics. Bobby shook his head. A bunch of crooks. They're the same, they fucking politicians, man. We're talking about leaving the EU. What's your thoughts on that, Algene? You for or against it? I don't know. Bobby sat down in the flare. I'll not be voting anyway. What do you mean you'll not be voting, Bobby? It's already been voted for. Like, it's happening, mate. What are you talking about? The 2 apprentices just looked at each other. Aye, Bobby, mate, we voted in that referendum like 2 years ago, mate. Jeez, I had no idea. So what's the script? What does this mean? What is it we're leaving? What's it called? The European Union. How do you not know about this? Oh, I told you, it's because I don't care. One of the apprentices just sat chuckling to himself. Oh, what is it? What are you laughing at? Bobby asked. It's just, I can't believe you've never heard of Brexit, mate. That's mental, man. Brexit, said Bobby. What's that mean? The apprentice started pissing herself. What is it? Tell me, what does it mean? Is that a politics thing? I know, aye. Right, so Bobby, you're telling us that you didn't know that we're leaving the EU. You didn't even know there was a vote. And now you're telling us you've never even heard the word Brexit. You've got to be at it. You've got to be kidding us on, surely, man. Bobby looked all flustered. No, I mean, of course I've heard of Brexit. I've not been living under a rock. Right, go then, one of the apprentices said. Use it in a sentence. All right then, aye, right, fucking right. Right, Brexit, right. Bobby racked his brains. Right, have you got my tape measure there, wee man? The apprentice checked his pocket. Aye, it's here. Right, well, make sure you don't get to him in case he fucking Brexit. Cheers. This next one I'm going to read you, it's called Haircut. And I wrote this because there's this guy who's got his haircut that I want, right? And it's cracking, right? But the thing is, it's a serial killer. I don't know how I feel about asking for it in the barbers. So you might know who it is, but don't shout out. I wrote a story, basically, what I think would happen if I went to the barbers and asked for this haircut. So this is haircut. Okay, I don't know, man. Sai said to his pal Hamad, I mean, it doesn't feel right to be asking for a haircut like this, man. Is it no problematic? Nah, no chance, Hamad replied. You know who I showed the barber a picture of for my haircut? Who? Joseph Stalin. Aye, see, an old guy, mate? Aye, well, he's dead now, but I mean, see his haircut when he was your age, man. He was cool as fuck. Sai handed over his phone and showed Hamad the picture of the guy whose haircut he wanted. What do you think, mate? Do you think he's a worse guy than Stalin? Hamad thought about this for a minute, inspecting the picture. I don't know, mate. I mean, Stalin was responsible for like 20 million folk being killed, you know what I mean? Aye, but he didn't personally kill them himself, didn't he, no? Aye, well, I don't think he pulled the trigger or stabbed any of them himself, mate, but I mean, there's definitely blood on his horns. Well, see this cunt here with the haircut? Like, he only killed 5 people, but he killed them himself. What do you think? Is that better or worse than what Stalin did? I'm not sure, mate. That's a weird one. Just show the barber a picture and see what happens. You probably won't see it. Aye, do you know what? You're right, I'll just go for it. So away, Sai went to the barber's, buzzing about the prospect of getting this stylish new haircut. He'd wanted this haircut for years, since he was a wee guy, and he's seen the wearer of it on Crime Watch. It was class. It's a shame it was attached to a guy who killed Waynes. It'd be all right, though. He thought he had heard people talking about separating the art for the artist when they were talking about films and that, you know. Surely this was the same. You could apply that here. And it must be a common enough haircut and all, because, well, how did the guy get it in the first place? Do you know what I mean? Surely people could appreciate that even evil cunts could have nice hair. What you having today then, pal? The barber said, fixing the black gown around Sai's neck. Oh, hang on, mate, I've got a wee picture here, I'll show you. Sai swiped around, looking for the photo of the serial killer's mugshot. Him there, that's him there, he said cheerfully. The barber took the phone for Sai and inspected it closely, seeing only the guy's hair at first. He'd seen this haircut before, but he couldn't place where fae. Right then, he mused to himself, right, well, shot on the back and sides by the looks of it, aye, that's no bother. I'll take it up quite high with number 2 maybe, leave a lot of length on the tap, that's no bother, that's nice and easy. I'll blow dry it for you as well, use a wee bit of mousse, get some volume, make it nice and curly and all. Sai looked on with his eyes full of hope, excited about how the barber was going to recreate this style on him. How would it look? Handsome as fuck, no doubt about it. But then the barber noticed the man in the picture's cold, dead stare. Is this Ian Brady? Aye, mate, aye. Is that all right? Is it fuck? No. Up at the chair, you. The barber whipped the cape off Sai and hauled him at the chair by the neck of his t-shirt. Oh, come on, mate, it's just a fucking haircut. You cut my pal cell at Stalin. That's different, wee man. You ain't asking to get your haircut like Ian Brady, he's all right. Oh, why don't I just give you a fucking Bible John then? What about a wee shot back in Peter Tobin? Oh, fucking idiot, get out my shop. Cheers. This is the last one. This is just another wee short one. This is a story called Davy. And it's about a big guy. It's based on a big guy I know, but just a big guy that loves tattoos, and I just wrote a wee story about him. So this is Davy. Davy was a big man. He was a very big man, and he loved his tattoos. He loved them so much that he dedicated his life to stuffing his face so he could get bigger and fatter, so that he could get even more, stretching his skin to breaking point. Davy reckoned that his body had the same surface area as 4 king-size duvets. And he was particularly proud of his gargantuan arse. That was the only part of his body that he kept free of tattoos for years and years and years. But now, Davy believed it was finally big enough for work to begin on his latest masterpiece. Davy printed off the picture of what he wanted, inked upon his derriere. It was the pyramids of Egypt. There was no spiritual reason for this. He had no connection to Egypt or anything like that. He just liked the pyramids. He just thought they looked quite cool. But Davy was steaming when he printed off the picture, though. He couldn't get tattooed while he was sober. It was far too sore. So he didn't even realise he'd printed off the wrong picture. He fell into the tattoo shop an hour later. Alec, Davy's favourite artist, smiled at the sight of this mammoth man lumbering into his shop. Alec had made a fortune off Davy all the years. "Take a seat, big chap," said Alec, pulling on a blue latex glove. "What we doing today then?" Davy fumbled around in his pockets for the picture. "Here," he said, thrusting the folded up piece of paper into Alec's hand. "I want this, and I want it on Mars." Alec unfolded the picture and gave a wee chuckle. "You never fail to surprise me, Davy. Get your bahookie out then." Davy obliged, and he pulled down his grey joggy bottoms, revealing his cellulite-ridden buttocks. His arse was so big and so dimpled that it looked like a memory foam mattress that had been scalped with 100 tennis balls. Alec got to work, meticulously portraying the landscape onto Davy's gluteus maximus. It was a landscape they were actually both very familiar with. Davy passed out a few moments after the needle made contact with his skin. After a couple of hours, Alec wiped off the last of Davy's thick, cholesterol-laden blood and admired his work. Davy, wake up, big man, that's you done," Alec said, and he gave Davy an open palm spank. Davy rose groggily from his slumber, his head thumping and his arse throbbing. He ambled over to the mirror with his joggies and knickers still round his ankles so he could have a wee look at his tattoo. He turned round and he had a wee look. He could definitely make it a pyramid, but it wasn't the Egyptian kind, or the Mayan kind, or even Aztec or Inca. It was the Scottish kind. It was unmistakably the Forge shopping centre. Davy screwed up his eyes. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. He thought he must have been in the midst of some vivid, bucky-induced dream, but he wasn't. The greeny-blue glass of the Forge's pyramidal entrance stood out beautifully against the pale skin of Davy's right arse cheek. Just left his crack sat a wee throng of trolleys. And to the right, an old woman, weighed down by her bags of messages, waited for a bus. A bin overflowed with McDonald's Happy Meal boxes and fag ends. The whole scene recreated in startling realism by Alec. Davy loved it. Cheers.
Chris McQueen.
Great to be here, especially I was hoping to be here on Saturday where this community brass band I'm in called Brass Eye are having their annual party in here. It's going to be brilliant, but I can't come because I am doing this lady here, Liz Lockhead's version of Peter and the Wolf at Ronnie Scott's in Soho. Yeah, with the Scottish National Jazz Orchestra, but Liz can't go. But yeah, that'll be a great party here on Saturday night. I'm going to do Tom's translation of Mother Courage, a song for that. I was working with Tom for a good while, trying to get the play on. It's brilliant, his version. He used his mother as the model for Mother Courage herself, and it's written in a Glaswegian dialect. And we managed to get 2 readings of it on at I Write and at the Tron Theatre. But I've set myself the task, and if anybody else is interested in us getting a full production of his Mother Courage on, that would be fantastic. I'm going to be doing this song with our band. I'm in a band called the Bum Clocks, which is the only time you'll ever come across that expression, bum clocks, is in the last verse. Oh, God, I never usually get complaints about being too quiet. It's in Burns's poem, Twa Dugs. The very last verse, the bum clocks hummed in the summer air. They were flying Scottish Beatles, so we bill ourselves as the Scottish Beatles. And we're going to be playing Noiriki, and we're going to be doing this Mother Courage song, and we're going to put it together with a wee piece of Burns. So even although this is not a Burns night, I'll do that for you. It's maybe the original expression with Burns of not just make love, not war, but make wains, not war, called I Murder Hate. I murder hate by field or flood, though glory's name may screen us. In wars at hame I'll shed my blood, life-giving wars of Venus. The deities that I adore are social peace and plenty. I'm better pleased to make one more than be the death o' 20. Hold your wish there, stop your drum. It's Mother Courage this way come. Oh, have your squaddies halting by, new boots and clays and all forby. Flea-ridden sodgers will love their loot, still want the guns they need to shoot. But how does your squaddy march and fight in scabby boots that's for too tight? It's springtime new, move on your way. The snaw's all gone, the deed lie deed. But you who haven't died as yet, the powers that be, they still do need. When no one's sausage for to eat, your squaddy'll fight till he falls dead. Gie him some forage on his feet, a drap of beer wi' a hunk of bread. Spite clapped-out guns, spite empty stomachs, your top brass still say all is well. Oh, get your squaddies fit and well here, and march them fit to the jaws o' hell. It's springtime new, move on your way. The snaw's all gone, the deed lie deed. But you who haven't died as yet, the powers that be, they still do need. From here to there, from there to all place, Courage's cart will I be seen. The war needs guns to fill its ball face, for guns and bullets always keen. But guns and bullets will nae fill it, its regiments, they still need you. So join the ranks, get to your billet. Sign up your name to fight the new. Wi' all the dangers and stray bullets, this war drags on from day to day. The war could last 100 years yet. Your common sojer will nae win. Pure crap is food, his gear, his rucksack, the regiment docks off his pay. So though it might strike you a wonder, this war will never go away. It's springtime now, move on your way. The snow's all gone, the deed lie deed. But you that have nae died as yet, the powers that be, they still do need. Thank you.
Tam Dean Byrne. And now a wee special surprise, actually. This was the part of the original bill. But I want you to welcome to the stage. This is not going to be the only Tom Leonard tribute. There's going to be several. I know Asif for the Scottish Poetry Library says I think there's going to be one the 2nd of March, I think it is. And at the I Write Festival, there's going to be one with Jim Carruth and Liz Lockhead.
I'm just going to read 3 very short Tom Leonard poems. Tom Leonard's poems, the wee short real language poems, there's always a title just in standard English, and then the voice of the poem argues with that or amplifies it. This is one of my favourites. There's hundreds of favourites though, but there's just 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going to go wallop, 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 and off. Okay. This one is The Voyeur. What's your favourite word, dearie? Is it wee? I hope it's wee. Wee's such a nice wee word. Like a wee hairy dog with 2 wee eyes. Such a nice wee word to play with, dearie. You can say it quickly, with a wee smile and a wee glance to the side, or you can say it slowly, dearie, with your mouth open, a wee bit open, and a wee sigh, dearie, a wee sigh. Put your wee head on my shoulder, dearie. Oh my, a great wee word, and Scottish. It makes you proud. 1. Number 2, tea time. I'm that dependent. Hang on to my vowels. Hang on to my mammy. How's the time? My man's that different. Off a short vowels. Is that independent? I'll better away. And to finish up, what Tom was all about. Poetry. The P as in pulchritude. O pronounced O as in bow. The E rather poised, pronounced I as in wit. Then a languid high T. Pause, then the coda, re, pronounced r, with the left eyebrow raised. What a gracious bouquet. Poetry. Poetry. That was my education. and nothing to do with me.
Liz Lockhead. Thank you, Liz. Our next guest is a Glasgow poet who, I don't know if whether you've seen her or not, but you should. Her show Confessionals has been a massive hit. Is it on, Victoria, is it on soon at the Tron? Yeah, but it's sold out. Yeah, I heard, aye. So if you want to go and see it, you have to wait till the next time. You're too late. But the people at the Tron know. So I'd like to give a big Southside welcome. She's been here a few times before, to Victoria McNulty.
Behold the Scottish man in his natural habitat. 20 yards for our Ladbrokes, where all the punters wear bonnet hats, and when the lassies do enter of whiplash, their necks will suffer. Still, it's bad form to forsake your mates for some daft burden or other, and my eyeliner is set to stun, and lipstick smeared to kill. The crowd erupts, the pub explodes with the tin whistle and fiddle, and the smell of knock-off links. It permeates the putrid sweat. Yes, you fucking dancer, the boys in the back of the net. And he says the referee's a wanker. Arms anchored, he reels me in, back to rack stomach, now softened with stout, shy lips on spiritus cheeks, shy of meeting a working man's eyes by the puggies. His scarf is green and white, tied tight, it swaps his neck for mine. He says he's never seen anyone prettier in hoops. And I tell he's just plunking for toast in bed in the morning, that Scottish awkwardness conjured with Presbyterianism and Jeanster circa 1998. Is this some modern day Rabbie Burns? I imagine some slap and tickle love like a red rose pressed against pulled shutters. His strong chin and black hair are swooning his way to the bedroom, all Ayrshire charm, aye right, and syphilis. Ye jovial boys who love the joys, the blissful joys of lovers, yet dare avow thy dauntless brow and the bonny lass discovers. And pray draw near and lend an ear and welcome in a prater. For lately I've been quarantined, a proven fornicator. I imagine the panics in thy breasty, the other women, the illegitimate children fathered by him. I imagine what the CSA would have made of Rabbie had he worked cash in hand fitting carpets. And I tell you think I'm joking, but I'm not. Because my friend has a secret. She said it was okay to share it. She said his hand tasted of tobacco as it tightly muffled her mouth. And my mother was strong, stood in the doorway holding the dog she had on the stairwell as he battered the door down to kill her. And my sister, she's smart, and she is full of poetry and classical art. And the more that she smouldered, the more that he tried to snuff her. So we are Jean Armour, Agnes McElhose, and Jenny Claw. We are every 10 minutes. We are 150,822. We are 1 in 3. We are 15,821. We are 1 in 5. We are the women you meet. Strangers on crowded streets. We are your sisters, your mothers, and your comrades, and your friends too. We are acquaintances and strangers. And unfortunately, we are some of you. So when my time comes, I'd rather raise my glass and pledge that from now on, in a modern Scotland, we're going to do more than just toast to the lassies. So as you can imagine, I'm so fucking happy this is not a Burns night. They're not really my forte, and actually I'm hardly ever invited to them. I wonder why. One of the first ones I went to was my school put one on, and for some reason my English teacher thought that third years in Shettleston were going to find an affinity with Robert Burns, and You can only imagine how that worked out for her, to be honest. So anyway, this next bit I'm going to do, I've never performed it before. It's really new. See in Hogmanay, I don't know if you know it, I went to Cunninger Loop, which is a forestry track down where Dalmarnock used to be. Dalmarnock still is, in the East End. So I went there with my wee boy on Hogmanay in the morning. And then we went to bring in the bells at my ma's, and we watched Catherine Polwart bringing in the bells, singing Caledonia. And she was really, really good, but I was a bit drunk, right? And I thought, I fucking hate that song, man. And this outpouring kind of came out the next day. Its working title is Scotland Uber Alleys. The cladding on that hospital's already left 79 dead. It's a melanoma that's already spread, and they will be frog marching to Caledonia when the curtains finally call. There's plants that stand 7 feet tall in the Calton, a tropic of cancer and a glass slipper that sees no need for a prince. They're going to shut off the heating, the eucalyptus weeping, and they'll sip Lethroig to Eddie Reader when we've got no place to go. And as our lives become car parks, our rent mid-market and counting, they'll call us service users, bump their spawns on Burns night soirees, and they will blame Westminster when the curtain finally calls. You see, our workers are on strike. Our teachers are on strike. Our nurses are on strike. Our academics are on strike. Our bin men are on strike. Our support workers are on strike. There's a generation of young people declared not fit to work. It's like Donald Dewar's wee pipe dream is a shower of scabbing cunts. So, let me tell you that I love you. And I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you are calling me. And I don't want to call that home. So I tried to write a tribute poem to Tom Leonard, and I couldn't, unless it's Ian Brown, I don't seem to be able to write tribute poems. So what I did is I wrote my thoughts instead. So I suppose as a poet, what I should be doing is verbosely talking about his literature and then reading one of my own poems about it in tribute. And I'm not going to do that. I could pretend that his style of Glaswegian writing influenced my work, but it would actually be a lie. I could tell you about the first time that I read him at school or at Glasgow University, but that would be a lie too, because in my 4 years as an undergraduate, I'd never heard of Tom Leonard. So I think that to give some kind of trite appraisal is just a bit short of a nonsense. I'd never met Tom Leonard. I don't know if he would have liked me. I don't know if he would have liked my work, and there's no personal connection there to say. But I know that a lot of you are friends today. So I'd like to tell you that from a distance I looked on admirably at an artist who used his voice and his class unapologetically, often when the Scottish intelligentsia did not know where to look. I learned a number of things from him. Firstly, that writing in my voice is an act of defiance, unashamedly telling stories of housing schemes and working class individuals in a Glaswegian accent is both unheard of and celebrated at the same time. Because speaking in the dialect and the dialectics of class oppression is a political act. And until reading Tom Leonard's work, it rested in my mouth and on my pen without me even knowing. See, they cannot replicate authenticity. They can't replicate lived experience, nor can they deny us the anger and the insight that brings. You see, Tom often wasn't invited to the party, and arguably had at times been sneered at by those who are now lauding his praise. He rallied against the custodians of real art and the ownership and legitimisation of literature. But the best thing about not being invited to the party is you don't need to play any games. And he made a plethora of radical works that were both loved and praised, and also banned in some places. But most importantly, he taught me about the ethics of writing, the truth about how the importance of authenticity and the responsibility of the fragility and transparencies. See, I've nowhere near his skill in summing up the human condition and summarising raw but simplistic emotion in his limit of lines. So I don't want to pretend that I've got some eulogy that would be to hand. The best way to pay tribute to his work is by his own story. Not to be complicit, not to accept that everyone is silent, it must be all right, not to keep one's mouth shut, to hold on to one's job, not to accept public language as cover and decoy, not to put your friends and family before the rest of the world, not saying that I am wrong when you know the government is wrong, not for being a bought behaviour pattern to accept the moment and fact of choice. I'm a human being. And I exist. I am a human being and I am a citizen of this world, responsible to that world and for that world. Thank you.
Victoria McNulty. I'd like to echo some of what Victoria said there, because you can't actually find Tom's work now. It's mostly out of print, and I think maybe that's something that today some of us could think about and something we could rectify and sort, because I saw a piece by Darren McGarvey, I think it was in the Daily Record, about that as well, that many of the people that were lauding him now were the people that kind of ignored them at the time. So maybe the people here and other people can make sure we sort that, so that the future generations get access to Tom's work the way that we did. And I'd like to introduce our final guest, who's more of a fan of Burns than Victoria is. He's a fantastic poet. I've known him for many years. I'm from Cumnock. He's from that other place nearby called New Cumnock. And in brilliant Ayrshire logic, New Cumnock's actually older than Cumnock. We'll explain it to you later, but it's actually true. He's been up here. He's performed for Govanhill Baths and quite a couple of times, at least once with Liz Lockhead, our Poetry Splash and things like that. He's a fantastic poet, a good friend of mine, and I'd love you to give a big Southside welcome to Rab Wilson.
I'm just putting the Dave Allen stool over here just so I can sit my graith on it. Can you hear me at the back there, aye? I feel a bit of an interloper here, you know, coming all the way up for Ayrshire to Glasgow in a day like this to celebrate Tom Leonard. I never knew Tom personally. I heard him read quite a few times, and I never really got to know him, but I think that was because he never really came to New Cumnock. But at least he came close. He came to read at Ochiltree, and that was the first time I heard him, and it was quite a revelatory experience. So 2 or 3 pieces of Tom's work to kick us off. Now, we'll have a wee vox pop vote here. We all kens what the tawse is, but you're holding up if you ken what the tawse is. We've all had the tawse. You're a bad bloody lot in here. Well, you're going to feel it again right now. 4 of the belt. Jenkins, all too clearly it is time for some ritual physical humiliation. And if you cry, boy, you will prove what I suspect. You're not a man. As I say, Jenkins, this hurts me more than it hurts you. But I show you I am a man by doing this to you. When you're a man, Jenkins, you may hear that physical humiliation and ritual are concerned with strange adult matters like rape or masochistic fantasies. You will will not accept such stories. That rather you will recall with pride, perhaps even affection, that day when I, Mr. Johnson, summoned you before me and gave you 4 of the belt, like this, and this, and this, and this. Takes you back, doesn't it? And Joe Corey, the great mining playwright and poet, he always said he liked to give his audience a good laugh and give them a good greet, and we'll probably move between the 2 posts the day. So to that end, 3 Tom's nursery rhymes. Humpty Dumpty sat in a wa. Humpty Dumpty had a big fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men come charging up and trampled them into the grun. And so they would. Jack and Jill went up the hill to have a wee refreshment. Guess what? Ba, ba, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. 1 for the maester, and another one for the maester, and 1 for the fucking church. Some Rab Wilson. I seem to be getting to that kind of age where I'm going to a lot more funerals than weddings. It's just, you come to a time like that and all of a sudden it's nothing but funerals and deaths. And this was a poem, it's a sonnet. I write quite a lot of sonnets, you'll hear some more sonnets. This was the one I wrote when the death of John Peel. When John Peel died, the great DJ, and a lot of us would have grew up with John Peel and his music, tremendous. And when he died, I wrote this poem, and it was like imagining that I'm not a religious person, I've no time for that, but it was imagining, you know, if this was a magic radio, and I've got a couple of old radios in the house, I've got these hacker radios, all valve things, wonderful. And it's just imagining if there's a magic radio somewhere where if you tune it in, these folk are still alive, they're still there. If you could just tune this radio in. Radio. This time of year I'm searching for you, John, in hopes to hear your reassuring tones. I birl the knob through BBC4, Home, Scottish, Brussels, Hilversum, Athlone. This hacker hunter Aiblins is the one. The others that I tried all failed the test. As dourly I stick to my mystic quest to track you down out there ayont the stars. Some wars you'll choose your festive 50 yet. You'll duke glowing manufactured TV dross and play as what you want. Never gie a toss, fleet foxes, Seager roast, half man, half biscuit. The dial turns through far Andromeda, and shining folk are dancing to the fall. A swatch for my Rubaiyat Omar Khayyam in Scots. There's 235 stanzas in this, but you'll be pleased to hear I'm only going to do about 8, I think. Lone cosmic inventor, beavering awa his toys. Sin tires of them, sin loses interest. His worst work, well, you could well understand, but even his very best, he flings it out. All those geniuses on tea towels and stamps, laden down with all the glittering prizes, deep down they must have won it. What's it all about? Give us their bedtime stories, then put out the licht. Aye, they all come and go, kidding us alone. Ah, gies another drink, and I'll whisper you a secret. It was all just a load of blethers. We'll listen to all the con men with their variety park opinions of the truth, kidding on that they kent it all. Well, what did they ken? What are they now? Although in astrology. I'm a Taurus, actually. Bull markets, bullish behaviour, bully for you. Oh, Marine, are you blind? It's all a load of bull. Those youngins, hanging round the bus stop with their comforting bottles of bucky, blamelessly swilling each bitter mouther, contemplating their bitter lives. They never asked to be here. If they had a choice, they'd rather go awa for this run-down dump. For, in reality, they've nae choice. What's to be gained for their coming and gone? What's the pint of their lives? They're all dancing to the same score, the music of the spheres, fading in, burning out. The shame of it, all the audience just fading awa, cut down in the great celestial harvest. The pity, the sorrow, and the blink of an eye, wishes unfulfilled into oblivion. Okay, you might have slept with a hoor or two and lived in the fast lane all your life. When you come to the slip road, you can kiss it all goodbye. And your life might as well have been just a dream. Thank you. 3 shortings for this collection, Life Sentence. This poem, one of our readers earlier on, in fact, I think a few of the readers have touched upon this, about reading Scots and writing in Scots and talking in our own tongue. You know, I mean, it's crazy that in this day and age it's still something that some folk look down their nose at. Absolutely crazy. But this was a story told to me by an English fella who came to Scotland in the 60s, and it was his first experience of somebody speaking Scots to him. Actually, the event happened in Ayr, but I changed the locus of the poem to Dumfries, just for some daft notion. And this is about how Scots themselves didn't accept or sometimes they'll just no admit to it that they speak Scots, they use Scots language. So it's called No For a Babel. The English chap was looking for directions. Excuse me, but could you direct me to the DSS office, please? The wee fella looked him up and down. Nae bother, friend. Just lay your car here in the Sons. Go along there, past the new bazaar. Hang a richt at the Old Friars Vaults, then keep going, up the Vennel, past the Vicky Inn till you come to Irish Street. When you pass Haddo's Offie, you've went too far. Gang richt to Irish Street, sign 200 yards, you'll see a muckle concrete burach of a building, thon's the DSS. Somewhat perplexed, the English chap interjected. I'm sorry, but could you repeat that again, please? Slowly. The wee fella, obviously put out, replied, did you no speak English? We built a new house about 10 years ago. My folks had a wee spread in the country, about 10 acres, next to the main A76 in New Cumnock. So we had a chance to build our own house, and this we did. And initially it was 4 pegs stuck in the ground, and the guy was there explaining where things would go and how it would be built. And on his drawings for this proposed house, instead of a septic tank, it said skeptic tank. So I said, I'm going to squirrel that away. Skeptic tank. I was sure it should have read septic tank, but they assured me the drawings were right. Aye, right. Till the lorry arrived to read it out, and they loused the cover off, and out sklimped Pyro of Ellis, Cicero, Plutarch, David Hume, Bertrand Russell, and Richard Dawkins, all covered head to foot in shite. Another wee shorting on the language of the Scots. Playing McDermott at Scrabble. Hugh McDermott's vast vocabulary. I'd have loved to have played him at Scrabble. I'd have waited till he played Cramacy, or Clam Jamfrey, or Blate, or Yow Trummel. Then I'd have said, "Now Hugh, that's no allowed. These English rules state you can't do that. You'll hae to take they words back off the board." Rules in English. Could you picture his face? That would have pissed the thrawn old bugger off. You're all very expectant. Well, let's no try and disappoint you. Let's get political for a moment, and why no? This is a take on Jonathan Swift's great essay and satire, A Modest Proposal, which he actually stole from a Roman writer, Tertullian. But this was updating it a wee bit for our friend Ian Duncan Smith, the man that invented this universal benefit nonsense. A Modest Proposal, 2010. Well, thank you, Ian Duncan Smith, for haying the smear man the pith to state your party's stert intentions to ease the age of all-age pensions. The truth is that the country's skint, for national piggy bank is tint. You'll no louse new at 65, for less good deals at 55, unless of course your Fred the Shred was sailed off safely to the Med. But Ian, man, surely be mere bold. If new we can't afford the old, the truth is there for all to see. Tertullian's apology? It's heich time we updated Swift, gin we would mark the audience shift. When aims to reach 70, we'll eat the old. The answer's plain. Just serve them up in barbecues, else gin their chuck and tasty stews. Just think on all the savings then, you'd sign be in the black again. Though ye things share, we'd all agree, there's ye thing that we'll never see. With you in charge, Ian Duncan Smith, will hardly eat the fucking rich. Growing up in New Cumnock, I left the skill. I worked in the pits for 8 years. I did a mining, an engineering apprenticeship in the pits, but I was never cut out to be an engineer. And of my engineering skills, they reckoned that I couldn't put a nut in a monkey's mouth. But it was a great education, and as Burns said, he says, there are wisdom that cannot be gotten in your schools, and that's a true thing. Common sense, and smedum, and pith, and just the community spirit of working in that environment. And Tracy was talking about the mighty Talbot the other day, they're beating Ayr United, and you know, there's a strength of spirit in these communities that can rise away above, you know, what you would imagine. But we suffered in New Cumnock and in East Ayrshire with a miners' strike in 84-85, and I was in the pit then, and I was in strike for almost a year, and it was a real tough time, and Maggie Thatcher nearly wiped us off the map, literally, in New Cumnock. I'll never forgive that woman. And these are a set of sonnets that I wrote for the miners' strike. And Tom Leonard always had a huge social conscience. I mean, some of the stuff he wrote, his diatribes that he wrote about the Iraq War in the Middle East, you know, that didn't get the audience that it deserved. All that these kind of works are always put down, and it's no right. And it's the duty of poets, I think, to speak out about issues like this. That's what we're here for. These are sonnets about the miners' strike. And are just the names of people in the area that they came for and their experiences. These are based on real life events, some of which I saw with my own een. Alex Shanks, Edinburgh. I was in New Craig Hall strike committee. A single mother with next to zero gied us a fiver out of your gyro. Men gied us free beer for Dryborough Brewery. The right to work, that was all that we asked. Demands which the Tories said went too far for tellies, holidays, maybe as a car. So judges and lawyers ta'en us to task. I was dragged through the courts, heavily fined, and hain nae previous was nae defence, fined £1,200 for a first offence. All I did was stand on a picket line. I'll never forget it. It's left its mark. It festers there yet, somewhere in the dark. At the end of the strike, most of the workers went back on a Tuesday, but this local hero made his point by no going back till the following Tuesday. Dave Maguire, Auchinleck. They started back on a Tuesday morning. I started back the following Tuesday. Then they shut the pit down. It's all away. Scargill was right. He gied us a warning, saying 10 years there'd been nothing left here. Ablow the brig there's no even a shop, except for the Chinky and Ned's smoking dope. It's no the same atmosphere. Maybe I'm depressed, but what can you do? There's nothing to do. No use complaining. Where are you going to go when it's raining? I'm finished with work. I'm by with life too. When the pits were gone, this place was alive. Scargill gied us 10. It's only been 5. And for, you know, it was the first time in a way that women were really, really empowered politically. A lot of women, for the first time, got involved in politics at a local level, and following on for that, get involved in politics at a higher level. So this is one woman's experience of the strike. Martha McCallum, Fallin. I wholeheartedly agreed with the strike. It broke my heart when they shut down the pit. I mean, I just great about it. The miners' principles, I thought, were right. The strike ruined us here. I'll tell you what, in wee cleaning jobs and that, you know, to pay the telly and the video, a hard road and nae twa ways about it. I hate the Polish now. Ken what I'm saying? True, miners didn't act with perfect grace, but what they did was a total disgrace. I'll never be the same with them again. The pit's away, but let me make it clear, I don't begrudge a minute o' that year. Rab Gray. Rab Gray, Cumnock. I'm one of the lucky uns, I would say. There's nothing for youngins about here now. My middle boy's scunner, stuck in the brew. They talk of long-term prospects. What are they? It's all open cast with their 12-hour shifts. The big boys who get the ball at their fit. You've two choices, pal. Tack it or leave it. They don't want only unions causing rifts. It's no the same as when the pits were gone. I'd get back doing a blow in a minute. A different class of folk, and I mean it. A place you'd never to ask for a horn. In this world now, they'd stab their own brother. Down there, you looked after one another. Yvonne Hodge, Cumnock. I was just 9 at the time of the strike. I thought it was great, because we got free meals. But money was tight, folk suffered for real. I was just a wean though, never knew like. I couldn't understand we'd nae new clays when other yins were getting new trainers. I called folk scab, but you ken what wains are like. I regret some things I used to say. I mind my dad in the kitchen, greeting. I asked, what's wrong? And he said they were bait. New things are worse. And they never were great. It's all changed round here since they get beaten. I'm 19 now, with a wane on my own. I've seen enough anger, seen enough pain. Danny Gemmell, Auchinleck. Scargill said we'd boot another year. We were rock bottom and morale was low. Do I regret the strike? Morally, no. But that finished most of the boys in here. The village knew. Nothing but a ghost town. Nae future, nae jobs. Old men walking dugs. All they leave for news are bucky and drugs. Shops all boarded up with their signs torn down. My family were all for mine and Stoke. Father, grandfather, 3 generations hung out to dry by the wealth of nations. They talk of wastage, but they're wasting folk. They've spent more keeping miners on the dole. Would it no be cheaper to dig for coal? One last one for these. When they returned after the strike, the long-term strikers were treated very badly by the management. And this kind of touches on that. Billy McLean, Kelty. I kent after the strike that we were bait. The manager had a run-in way. He said, 3 weeks after the strike, by the way. It's constant nichts, or there's a fucking gate. Nobody'll ken the true cause to the strike. Truth is, the Tories just wanted revenge. McGregor and Maggie out to avenge themselves for the 70s and that, like. Stories I could tell. Orgreave, picket line, led us stracht in. They all kent what today. They battered the fuck out of us all day. And the news that was shown was redesigned. They weren't the true facts. That wasn't real. Truth was what my country tried to conceal. Thank you. Right, I'll lighten it up a wee bit just to finish, you'll be pleased to hear. A wee short daft poem that kind of shows how you can wake up in the morning, your life's wonderful, and then just by an event or something or a phone call, your life can just go like that. Big Billy's Wham Bammer. A short cautionary tale about the dangers of glorious excess. Go up. Phone's up. What's up? Shut up. Split up. Hangs up. Burned up. Wound up. Fed up. Geed up. Messed up. Blew up. Tanked up. Toked up. Coked up. Bulked up. Cracked up. Picked up. Banged up. Loked up. Screwed up. Fucked up. Games up. Wake up. Right, this one celebrates the West of Scotland male in all his romantic glory. This one's for the ladies. And again, it's a found poem. It's a found poem based on a true incident I witnessed with my ain in, and I just thought it was wonderful. I've got to write this down. It was like Boswell witnessing hearing some great thing by Johnson and saying, "Oh, your beauty." And here it is. Summerfield checkout counter, number 2. Harassed, the lassie frowned and shouted in the supervisor. I wish they'd mark them more clearly. How much is this Chardonnay, Wilma? Is this the inn that's an offer? The woman, a hint me, stared. Then the big fella appeared, ruggedly handsome with his bunches of flowers, justifiably embarrassed. If that's all you've got, she said, just take them to the basket counter. Then added cheekily, anyway, you're too late. Valentine's Day was yesterday. The big fella was informed though. His face lit up and pooing a flower, he haunted tear. Hen, when you stay with me, every day's Valentine's Day. And clasping his tulips, he cantily marched out the door. Clutching her prize, she paused briefly and gazed wistfully after him. And to finish this set off, before we have our music, 2 for Tom Leonard. This one is a personal favourite of mine. I just love this. Moral philosophy. What do you mean? What do you mean? Listen to me talking to you, right? Hold on, where was I? No. Aye, what's his name? Him with the, you on. Here, you. You're not even listening. Name of God. I don't know. And I'll finish with this one, which sums a man up for me. Richt enough. My language is disgraceful. My ma told me. My teacher told me. The doctor told me. The priest told me. My boss told me. My landlady in Carrington Street told me. The lassie I tried to get halfway in 1969 told me. Some wee smout that thought I hadn't read Chomsky told me. A Calvinistic communist that thought I was revisionist told me. Po-faced literati, grimly carrying the burden of the past, told me. Po-faced literati, grimly carrying the burden of the future, tell me. My wife tell me just to get into this poem, tell me. My wains come home for skill and tell me. Just about every book I've opened, tell me. Even the introduction to the Scottish National Dictionary, tell me. Ah, well, all living language is sacred. Fuck the lot of them.
That was a brilliant Rob Wilson. We're going to finish with some music now. I'm going to say all the sort of thank yous and all that sort of before the music, so we can finish with a song and a drink, finish on a sort of high note. I'd just like to thank everybody for coming along today to celebrate Tom. We've raised over £300, I think, half of which will go to help the BAS campaign and half will go to the British Lung Foundation. I think we've had a good time, haven't we? We've seen some brilliant acts. So I'd like you to thank Rob Wilson, Victoria McNulty, Liz Lockhead, Tam Dean Byrne, Chris McQueer, Tracy Harvey, and Jim Ferguson. And I want you all to raise your glass and toast to Tom Leonard with a few of his words to end it. Blah, blah, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. 1 for the master, another 1 for the master, and 1 for the fucking church. Thank you. Sorry, to finish us off, the wonderful Abby Normal.
Hello, I'm Abby Normal. Thank you very much for Jim for asking me to play some tunes today. My voice is going, so I'm going to sing to you. I'm going to play 4 songs. I'm going to keep the political theme going. This first song is it's about Liberals, and it's called They'll Drown You. Is that coming through all right? Aye. They put money in our pockets, screens in our heads. They say their life is worth living and we're better off dead. They put stones in our reflection and tattoo our dreams. Welcome to the real world where nothing's as it seems. Give them the sea and they'll drown you. Show them the light and they'll burn you. Give them the wind and they'll suffocate you and sell you it back. And I'll forgive your torturers. Yeah, I'll forgive your murderers. Just give me my wages, my vote, my drink. Let me go home. Who needs concentration camps when we've got borders? Who needs the police when you've got grasses for neighbours? They've fucked our education, they've taken our tongue. While we feast on satire, we are left to burn. Give them the sea and they'll drown you. Show them the light and they'll burn you. Give them the wind and they'll suffocate you and sell you it back. And I'll forgive your tortures, well, they were just following orders. And I'll forgive your murderers, well, you don't have any papers. Just give me my wages, my God, my honey, let me go home. My mind is a minefield made up of what's not mine. I'm spending all my money, they're spending all my time, and I don't want any children, yeah, they've taken that too. Dylan's Masters of War has come a bit too true. Give them the sea and they'll drown you. Show them the light and they'll burn you. Give them the wind and they'll suffocate you and sell you it back. And we've become the torturers. Yeah, they've made us murderers. I'll give you my wages, my joint, my drink. Please come home and bring down the borders. Thank you. All right, this next song's about the surveillance system in Glasgow City Council, loosely. And more's being said than there is to tell. I panned in the windows to my soul cell. They got footage of the truth, I burned it myself. Nothing is a story I won't tell. No, nothing is a story I won't tell. Is this real? This blanket of right privacy's flashing our tits for a tenner a night, bathed in Israeli surveillance for a streetlight. It's a lie, that's the problem with it being fact. Do all people have potential to act like that? If you base your statements on judges and acts, hang your head on the pavement, brace for contact. Cause more is being said than there is to tell. I panned in the windows to my soul cell. They got footage of the truth, I burned it myself. Nothing is a story I won't tell. No, nothing is a story I won't tell. Politics, circuses, nothing's real, doesn't matter. Give your freedoms to the screens. Bank transfer, mad hatters, aye cool, it's fine, no worries, that's the game. Need a twisted soundtrack to every mind frame. Nobody talks and everybody walks, but secrets are a currency. Magic beans spill a lot. Sleeves rolled in trousers down, crack. Whip, you run this town, and you will all fall far from grace. Forget my name, forget my face. Cause more is being said than there is to tell. I panned in the windows to my soul cell. They got footage of the truth, I burned it myself. Nothing is a story I won't tell. No, nothing is a story I won't tell. No, nothing is a story I won't tell. Well, Johnny's basement is burnt out and the attic's on fire. The carpet's mostly soaking upon that funeral mire. The people are gathered in all their taxi numbers. Had to go home early, cause some cunt smashed the floorboards. The vultures are fed up, I hate this fucking city. Could have wrote it better, ends in arm pegs and false glamour. You get what you tell, so make sure you tell it well. Don't end in murdered armies trapped inside your soul cell. What do you live for and what are you looking at? What do you see with your own two eyes? What do you fight for? What do you bleed for? And what do you compromise? And we are free, and this is free. Behind enemy lines, we are free. Thanks. So now I'm going to get Victoria back up. Victoria and I have been working together on confessionals, and although it's sold out in the Tron, you can catch it on the 23rd of March in the Calton Learning and Heritage Centre for a £5. So that's just been released as well, so you can get tickets for that. And Becky Wallace is going to be supporting us at the Calton as well, so it's going to be an amazing night. So this is something new from both me and Victoria.
This is about the boy that flew too close to the sun. The fucking worst thing about signing on is I have to walk through the forge to do it. There's a statue upstairs between the toilets adjacent to the puggies. An ironmonger hard at work in the old iron forge. As Jack Russell adores his master's voice, the distant roll of honour in a historical class. They'd have us believe that everybody in Parkhead was a grafter, their dog's a man's best friend. More like cunts with Akitas they can't afford, waiting at home on a Thursday, while their owners go to the Asda to die. There are 3 lassies in front of Icarus on the escalator, one slurping a Greggs from a paper bag, eyeing him through glue-stuck lashes, all shellac nails, sovereigns, and suspicion. They giggle as they alight. Icarus catches his reflection in the shop window, flattens his hair, pats down his shirt, stifles what pride he has left, and takes a soldier's stance. Regular soldier, the best you'll ever bear. They're more than just soldiers, they are skills tradesmen. You don't have to give up your old life, and if you're deployed, you'll only be away for 6 months. You will live and work on army bases.
Oh, sinner man, what have you done? They're chasing you, but why do you run? Who taught you right from wrong? Did your teacher tell you they were the one? And did you do it that way? And they said you should have been a praying. And they said you should have been a praying. But what God or hero is there left to pray to?
Gypsies, mansions built and benefits. Britain must ban migrants. Muslims tell Britain to go to hell. Muslim thugs burn poppies. Migrants make mugs of us all. Immigration brings more crime. Muslim converts behead women in a garden. Muslim plots to kill the Pope. 1 in 5 Britons will be ethnic. Asylum is your right to worry. UK mosque gives cash for terror. Workers fired for being British. Workers fired for being British. Workers fired for being British.
Oh, sinner man, what have you done? Did they learn your name before they point the gun? Oh, sinner man, what will you do? They lay their hate and fear upon you. Your history becomes another scapegoat. And they said you should have been a praying. And they said you should have been a praying. But what God or hero is there left to pray to?
In every shopping centre, in every scheme stands a stall. Green berries, imperialist tall, cast iron and hollow, they prey on the souls of our desperate. Their silhouettes sprawl the walls of the falls. White lie lilies bear witness to names whispered in Gibraltar. Ypres weeps for the souls of our dead. Icarus hinges. A spider sprawl across a dotted line. Strip lights trip in his pulse. A rave in a cardboard box. He sighs. At least I'm doing something useful.
And so this is the last song. Thank you so much for a wonderful afternoon, Jim. Thank you for organising it. And again, just toast to Tom Leonard. He started so long ago. Jigsaw puzzles out of shadows, and when he turned around and emptied out his head, we couldn't hear a word he said. Left him scraping in the stone all the things we could have known. Rot sits in the house of gold. Beggars betray who they have sold, and the streets are dead, they're watching every step. Got you tangled in their web, only takes a fool to know. Hide your face to save your soul. There's a love you can't let go, and there is love but no one knows. And we creep around in fear, blindness or dread, possess the demons in our head, staring dumbfucked at the ground, asking where is the love. And who left that skyline lying there? What weaved this world? And who makes us bite the trigger every day to free something they once called a soul?
What if we both,
something they once called
you and me, were always listening? I mean, really listening to the silence. Would we hear and really hear and heed the importance of waiting, really waiting for the right moment to begin the song?
Thank you.